What is your name and where are you from?
Larry Wall. I live in Iowa City.
All right, and how did you originally hear about my lessons?
Online. I was
All right.
searching once again. I was looking for uh, a site where I could get music that sounded exactly like the artist performed it. And let me
Okay.
tell you, there are very few sites out there that do that. And
Yeah.
and I hooked up with you, and I was very happy.
Yeah. And you know why there's very few? Because it's so hard and it takes so long. You have to be able to
Hmm.
make a living at it or you can't put out the
Hmm.
content. So did you go to my site directly or did you find YouTube first?
I can't remember. I don't know if it came
Okay.
through YouTube or it was just a search for, it came across web piano
Yeah.
teacher. I can't remember.
Okay. All right. What did you like most about learning from my method?
Well, your lessons are good. They're explanatory. You take it in pieces. You have your whiteboard behind you. You have the Another thing I like is the way you say, okay, it's bomb, ba bomb, as opposed to just
Okay.
plodding along.
Yeah.
I like the way you have your emphasis on things. And once again, if you can read music, then you can download the sheet music, download on your site the
Sure.
sheet music for that.
Right. And you're
And
talking about my site, so people doesn't don't think you're going somewhere else to get it. It's right
right,
there.
right,
Yeah.
right. And on your site, you have this huge music library. So it's just you could spend a lot of time
Oh yeah. You're
going
not
through
kidding.
your songs.
You're
It's
not
kind of
kidding.
hard to narrow them down. You start when you have them alphabetically listed. It's like, oh my God, look at
Yeah.
all these songs. So you got to kind of go in that with an idea like, I really like this song and I'd really like to learn this song. And every now and then you'll hit a song and go, ooh, I wonder if he's got that in his library. And you look it up and sure enough, there it
That's
is.
wonderful. That's where
And
I wanted to get to where most things people would say, "Hey, I want to play that." That it's on there, and there truly is a lifetime. Unless you're, like me, there's no. In fact, if I started right now, I don't think I could get through all of them the rest of my life unless I spent every minute of the day practicing. So there's truly a lifetime on there for anybody. What makes my lessons different from other online piano lessons?
I don't know if I can compare them to other ones because I haven't gone to any sites.
People say
What
that.
I was searching for was I want to hear the songs that sound like what the artists do.
Okay.
So that's really what attracted me to your site. And then the teaching is very good. It's you coach people as they go along, say here's how to
Sure.
do this, and if you get frustrated, go back and start here. And you also have say if you're struggling, go back to these beginner lessons. I got these listed on my site. You can start out doing something like something uh, more manageable, I guess, and then you can progress your way up. So it really, it's a good exercise in depending on what your skill levels are. You
Hmm.
can find something that's going to work for you.
Wonderful. Thank you, Larry. That's an answer a lot of people have. I saw you just started thinking because most of the people I'm doing testimonials with that have been with me for 5 years or more, that's what they say. They say, I don't know. I found yours and that was it. That's all I needed, which is great that's great for me that I'm not, competing with all the other pizza businesses on the block.
I just
Um,
don't see other sites out there like yours. Honestly, I've not found them.
and I love it. I'm having a blast, and so I'm going to just keep doing this. And I'm looking forward to. Got some lessons today. I'm doing. It's going to be great. Um, so on a scale of 1 to 10, how satisfied are you with my lessons?
Let's give it a 9.
All right, good. And I'm always glad to hear the room for improvement because I can still get better too. Really, I am. I love that. I'll never give myself a 10 because then you stop working if you think you've arrived. It's all
I think
all about the
I've
journey.
noticed the quality of your video. I think you're doing 4K maybe resolution. If you look
Yeah,
back
we've
at
upped everything.
some of your older videos, it may not be as crisp as what the current ones are.
Yeah, so the technology got better, but I've been
Yeah,
doing this for almost 20 years, so that's why those older videos are
yeah,
or
Yeah.
grainier. And yeah, I'll tell you something else. I thought, oh, those are grainy. I need to redo them. So I started a campaign trying to go and redoing some of the old ones. And then people were emailing me, "What are you doing? Put that back on." I like it the old way. I like hearing the kids screaming in the background. I love, the young Shawn and all. So I was like, okay, and no one has complained. So that's good for me too, because then I get to keep concentrating on new content.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
you can see and I actually got all the money to upgrade everything. We sold our camper and we ended up having, me and my wife were praying about it. Lord, give us enough money to have just, to do this new studio. And we got just enough, it was just the right amount we needed for the cameras and and a little bit of advice. If you're looking to get equipment for a studio or something, find the best thing, that's the newest thing, and then go down one and buy
Mm-hmm.
that right under the top. You'll save a lot of money. It's probably going to be just as good quality. Anyway, so last question. Would you recommend to a family member or a friend my lessons? And if so, why?
Oh, absolutely. Once again, it's the you're going to get a song that you have heard on either CD, um, you know, Spotify or whatever. You're going to hear an exact replica of that song. So if you're going to put the effort into playing something, it's going to be what you want to hear. It's not someone else's arrangement that is like close but no cigar kind of thing. So
Right.
if you're looking to really you want to play something that sounds like the artist, this is a place. The teaching is good. And you can always go back on your videos and refresh yourself as you go along. Um, so you have the videos to look at, and then you can download the sheet music, which is what I do. So um, a lot of ways to skin a cat, I think, on your website.
Awesome. So I like to still, I don't know if you do this, Larry, but I have a record player and I still like to listen on the LP. Do you have one of those?
Not anymore. Just now everything is online. It's all
I
Spotify.
know it. It is. And I tell you what, maybe it's just nostalgic, but I feel like the record is a little warmer sounding than when you
Right.
go on and do it electronically. I don't know, but the albums are fun to do. I still have one I put on and crank it up. But anyway, Larry, thank you today for talking with me. I'm going to send you that link right after, and
Okay.
sure do appreciate it, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Good talking to you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Wonderful. Hey, if you wouldn't mind putting your phone in landscape mode instead of portrait, because when they process the video, it'll cut your head off if it's in portrait. If you could turn
I'm
it
not very tech.
sideways.
How do I go about doing that?
Oh, are you using a phone?
Yeah,
Okay, just turn it sideways. There you go.
that works.
It should flip. Are you on an
Yeah.
iPhone or?
iPhone. It flipped for me, but you're still
Yeah, I know it's still sideways there. Usually it just fixes itself. um, well, we'll just. I don't. I don't either, Evan. Let's see. Just kind of mess with it a little bit and see if it fixes itself. If it doesn't, we can just do it portrait. That's fine. Maybe it might be stuck in. You might have the setting where it's stuck in portrait mode, but that's okay. We don't need to take time. Yeah, you might have screen lock on where it's stuck in portrait. But
Do I need to go to settings to change that?
let me see. How does he change it, Evan?
Sorry.
Oh, that's okay. Evan, can you uh, switch the orientation so we're side by side? There we go. Okay, great. Okay. Larry, thank you for meeting with me today.
Absolutely.
I really appreciate it. I'm decided, after 18 years to actually work on the business side of things. And because all I've ever done is just throw up content on YouTube. And my business coaches are telling me if I actually worked on this, it would might do really, really well. So one part of it is meeting you guys with the testimonials, and I have loved it. I thought it would be overwhelming at first, but just getting to meet you guys has been so energizing and life-giving to me. It just makes me want to make more lessons and keep doing it. So I'm having a great time. So Larry, how long have you been with my lessons?
I think about between 2 and 3 years.
Okay. All right. So you're actually kind of a newbie, if you can believe that. Most people I've talked to are like 8, 10, 15 years, which is impressive to me. I had no idea people were sticking around that long.
Mhm.
And I see these names all the time in emails, and it's nice to be able to put a face with a name now. So just kind of growing up, did you have traditional piano lessons? Did your parents put you in piano lessons? Did you play guitar? How was your musical upbringing?
I took piano lessons as a kid, grudgingly. Um,
Yeah.
and as I got older, teenage years, I just kind of moved away from things. And um, once I got, older and we had a daughter, we got a piano and forced her to take piano lessons.
Okay. Yeah.
She
Yeah.
she hated it too, but I was getting ready to retire and I wanted to start playing piano again. So that's how I wanted to play what I wanted to play,
Yeah.
and I had the time to do it after I retired.
Ah, okay. Right. So during your upbringing as a kid, do you feel like you were like note reading was a struggle for you or a barrier? Were you good at it? How did you feel about the just
I,
the
I could I could read music, okay.
so you're pretty good at it, but
I
maybe
could
didn't
read
like what you were playing maybe.
exactly.
Yeah.
I had a very, an older woman school or uh, piano teacher, and it was all valse petite and weird,
Yeah.
stuff that I just you never hummed along to because you never heard it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, and even in the beginner books, who wants to play Little Red Bird when you can,
Right,
play Let It Be by the Beatles. So, and in the piano teacher's defense, that's really all there was, and to a great deal is available today. If you go out and want to be a piano teacher and you buy some books for your students, they're all going to be like that, no matter what
right.
version you get, what publisher you get. So yeah, that's a lot of people's experience, and that kind of as I was teaching, because I've taught for 20 years or I taught 20 years individually. I had 50 students a week before I went online on YouTube. So there was 20 years there where I'm teaching 50 students a week, and everyone is experiencing the same thing. And I felt like I actually got to be a pretty good teacher, but they hated the types of music they were playing, and also the learning to read music. Reading music can be very difficult for some people, and those two things were kind of just turning people off, and you quit. They hate it. And so that's when I started doing the whiteboard stuff. I finally said, all right, scratch that. They're going to quit anyway. So why don't we try something else? So I asked the kids or the adult, I would say, what do you want to play? And they were just, really? I get to choose what I would want to play? I said, yeah, let's do it. And so they'd name a song, whatever it was. And then we'd turn on their CD, and then I would just write it out right there in the lesson. And they immediately would begin to play stuff they liked. And their attention and their love and I got a huge waiting list pretty quick as it just kind of skyrocketed. And so I kept doing it. And then YouTube came along and I thought, let me try this on video, how it would work. And, the rest is history. So when you first came to see my lessons, was the way I write things with the tablature, letters on the whiteboard, was that confusing to you? Did it immediately click? How did you deal with that?
Um, no, I could understand what you're doing. I could read, one of the things I like about your site is what really attracted me, I guess, Shawn, is I was looking for a, a place where I could learn to play music and the songs would sound exactly like they were when
Okay.
they were recorded by the artist. I
Hmm.
had searched and searched and searched online for sites that could either transcribe note for note or would just, would produce written material that was
Yeah.
supposed to sound like the song. And it some of it did, but a lot of it didn't. So
Yeah.
they were always like a near miss. And I just got just frustrated with that. So when I
Yeah.
came across your site, what really attracted me was the song sounded like exactly like the way they're supposed to sound. That's what
Awesome.
attracted me. And
Well,
your whiteboard where you putting the notes up there, yeah, that's was you're getting your lessons and watching you go along. That works okay. Uh, One thing that helps me, I guess, is I would then download sheet music for the songs that you're playing or the ones that I was interested in.
uh-huh.
So I wasn't tied to your lesson. I could go back to your lesson and review,
Hmm.
but I could play at my own speed with the music that I downloaded. And you have a huge music library. I
I
mean,
do.
I don't know how long it took you to compile that, but
18 years. 18
well,
years.
wow, it's something else. But I
Yeah.
applaud you. I mean, the music is it's absolutely spot on. So I've really enjoyed it.
Well, thank you, Larry. So I have to give credit to, well, I give credit first of all to all my guinea pigs for 20 years who taught me how to teach because I learned how to be a good teacher. And when you're side by side with real people, that you got to have that to be a teacher, even if you're, especially if you're going to be on video, because you don't have that person there. And so, you know, you develop an instinct for what's going to work and what's not. So if I'm teaching, I think, okay, this person's going to need help with this. So I address that during the lesson. So hopefully that helps a lot of people. But also I have to give credit to all the hired request people. From the very beginning, I did the hired request list. And it was, you know, a way, if I'm going to spend a lot of time on a lesson, I need to be able to make money at it. And so people would hire me to do it. And I didn't realize it at the time, but the library that was being built and is still being built today is filled with unique stuff that you can't find anywhere else because they've already looked. And if they couldn't find a certain version, an Elton John live version in 1985 or whatever, then they hire me to, I want this version. And so already it's going to be something very unique and special. And if everyone who has been a member, those are the people who have decided what's in the library, not me. So if I decided everything, it would be kind of a one-sided thing. But all you guys have great taste in music. You know what you're doing. You know what you like, and everyone else tends to like the same things who have great taste in music. So it's hats off to all these people who have done the hard requests, and I'm still doing them to this day. I mean, I got just the other day I did Rockin' Pneumonia, Johnny Rivers. Everybody's wanted that for years. And then there's a Racing in the Street by Bruce Springsteen. Roy Bittan's playing, you know, for 10 minutes, just showing off, soloing. I got to do that. That took forever, but stuff like that you aren't going to find anywhere else. So I appreciate you for noticing that.
I downloaded Racing in the Street and what's the other Bruce Springsteen song? Sort of like it. Jungle Land.
Yes, that's a big one.
Yes, and those are hard. Those are very hard, and I'm struggling along. But once again, you can go at your own speed. You can, you know, I can read music so I can follow along. And then when I go back to your videos to see how you did something, and it's nice to have access to that.
Excellent. And that's one thing I've always strove to do is to be exact as I can. I'm not perfect, but to get as close as I can to the album version because that's what I want to play. And I think everyone else wants to do that. They don't, for example, if you get the sheet music for Tiny Dancer, you'll find this. And people want to do this.
Right.
That's what they want to play. And so it's kind of a buzzkill when you do that, work that hard to learn to read music, and then you buy the sheet music, and that's what it is. So for whatever reason, so I've always strove to do that. I forgot what I was going to say. I was going to had something else to ask you. I know what I was going to tell you. Okay, you mentioned the Bruce Springsteen and Jungle Land. So this is a true story here. Niels Lofgren, you know who that is?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, and for those who don't know, longtime guitar player for Bruce Springsteen. He's in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. You can look him up. You know, you'll see pictures of him back to back with Bruce. They're playing guitar, but he's just a great guy, great musician, loves music, played his whole life, had his own band, has his own records and stuff like that. But he's just incredible. Well, he's a member on the site, and he bought a membership because he wanted to learn Jungle Land because he's up there playing with Roy Bittan. And I guess Roy's not a great teacher. I don't know because I figured, well, why don't you ask Roy? But anyway, he's using my lessons because they're the most accurate that he has found. And to me, that's the greatest compliment I can get from anybody as far as the accuracy of it. So I'm thrilled about that. But he's going to do a podcast thing, testimonial with me. So look forward to that.
Great.
With me. Isn't that funny? Yeah. So I want to get to these testimonial questions, and it might feel like you're repeating yourself a little bit, but I just like to get to know you a little bit before we do it, instead of it just being a questionnaire thing where I put you on the spot. But before we get to it, I wanted to ask: do you play in a band? Do you ever play for other people? You have a chance to do that ever?
Piano recitals, that kind of thing. As a kid growing up. Not as an adult. I just play for like maybe family members once in a while.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. That's cool. A lot of our members are gigging musicians, and I'm starting to do that with my son. He's 18. He's about to be 19. He's amazing on guitar. and he wants to play. I said, son, what do you want to do? And he's like, I want to play music. And,
Hmm.
not always the safest bet in the world to be a musician, but I'm like, he loves it. He's incredible. So instead of going to college, we put the money into the equipment for him and to go gigging. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to start gigging in Waco. He learned Cliffs of Dover in 2 days. He can play Stevie Ray Vaughan. He's just amazing. So we're going to start doing that. So I just wondered if you played for anybody. You mentioned the piano recitals. Aren't those scary? I mean, you set up a kid. If they go to one of those things and they, freak out and they have a memory slip and they can't keep going, it scars them for life.
Exactly. Exactly. I escaped
Yeah.
it, fortunately.
Yeah. And so I've always, when I had the recitals, I'd let them use the music if they wanted to. That was one thing, because I didn't want them to freak out and have that experience. And then if they didn't want to use the music, I'd have it close so I could put it in front of them if they needed it to
Hmm.
get the heat off a little bit. Yeah, but those are scariest things. The way the piano is, it's just, yeah, it's it doesn't work for a lot of people. Um, so as far as you're playing, what's the most, I guess, piece that you're most proud of that you've learned from the website?
Oh, probably Hallelujah.
Oh, okay. The
Yeah.
which version?
Um, I could look at my notes
The
behind me.
Jeff Buckley one.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Da, da, da. Yeah. So yeah, Leonard Cohen's a great songwriter, but I always like the people who do his songs better than the way he
Than
does it.
him. Yeah.
Yeah, a great songwriter. That's a good one. Cool. So what would you, if you look at the library and you say, man, I'd love to learn to play that one day. What's that one song that you would really like to do?
Well, I'm working on them. Jungle Land and Racing
Oh,
in
the
the
Jungle
Street.
Land. Okay. So you're
They're
still
they're,
doing that
they're
right now.
oh,
I,
absolutely. Yeah. It's a long slog to get through those.
oh, that can be, yeah,
And
the guy I
and
did
and
it
I,
for.
yeah, and I like to play Van Morrison's "Have I Told You Lately,"
Okay.
and
Yeah.
I can't a couple other ones. Kind of got some jazzy sound to them.
Sure.
So I like Van Morrison's things. Um, Beatles. I've downloaded a number of the Beatle things,
Yeah.
but it's I kind of take my time as I go along.
Sure. Well, those two Roy Benton pieces, that can be a lifetime right there with just those. Gosh, those are, yeah, you went to the high end there with those. They're fun. Like the guy who hired me to do that, he has a memory. His name's Andrew. He's from the UK, and actually saw that. He was there in the audience when they did that performance in, I think it's 2009 or something. And his mother took him, and he had a tough childhood because his mother had cancer his whole childhood, and he said he saw things you should never have to see your mother go through, and it just really scarred him. So music is kind of a way of therapy for him. So it's a way to
Hmm.
get it and forget stuff and just to have fun. And so this music is one of his happy memories with his mother. So that's what he's doing. He said it's going to take me
Great.
the rest of my life to do it. But I was like, wow, what a story.
Nice.
So that makes me really want to do a good job on it. So is that the one you're doing? The latest one I just put out, the Racing in the Streets?
Yes. Yes.
Good. Yeah, that's the best one. Awesome. Well, let me get to these questions here, Larry, if you don't mind. And after
Sure.
this is over, I'm going to send you an email with a Google link in it. And if you wouldn't mind just writing me a quick review, just what we're talking about here, that's probably going to help me more than anything else. It helps me rank up higher in my SEO with Google. If people can see those reviews, it really helps a lot, because people who first find me, they don't know about me, and if they see, all you guys are happy with it, it really helps me out to get that business. So I'll send you that right after. But let's get going here.